look like the monster as after Michael Jordan and the Toon Squads beat them and they got their powers. Welcome to the first episode of A Dose of Reality, the podcast. I'm your host, Kid ISO. That's your other host, Blake.
What's going on?
And basically, this is our culture podcast that we put together kind of just to talk about current events and the music industry and media industry as a whole. And we just want to give our thoughts about it. I felt like we've always had great conversations about what's going on, and I just want to share that with the world. So me and my buddy here are going to, kind of break down some stuff, and I'm going to let him give an opportunity to introduce himself fully.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Blake Krett. Like Aaron said, this is a conversational podcast about pop culture, about today's news, a little bit about myself. I'm a comedian. I do stand-up in local areas. Not only that, but I have a daughter. She's going to be 3 years old. Her name's Sadie, so I'm a father, comedian, and just an artist overall. Aaron and I have a lot of conversations off camera, and we just feel like we should shed light on a lot of those conversations. They get really in depth. So, just hopefully at the end of the day, people can pull something from what we talk about that's important to us.
Absolutely. And, I'm Aaron, Kid ISO. Some people know me as Aaron. Some people know me as Kid ISO. I've been making music for, almost 10 years. Close to 10 years. About 9 years. And, it went from making music to a friend of mine, G Money, G Note. Shout out G Money.
Shout out G Money.
He had his own radio show called Northside Plugged. And I came on for an interview one time. It was such a great experience, and ever since then I've been kind of itching to, full time get into the media space. And I did some stuff with Northside Plugged. Shout out Northside Plugged.
Shout out Northside
and also
Plugged.
with Cole Podcast. Shout out Cole Podcast.
Shout out.
So I've worked with some of those guys, but it's finally time for me to venture out, and me and my bro here are gonna do our own thing, and we will see a lot of those guys coming up in future episodes. We intend to have a lot of interviews with interesting people from all walks of life who do all different types of things, and just give their opinion on the world as they see it. And that's what we're striving to do, is really put some a positive spin, but a truthful spin, a reality behind what's going on in the world today. I want to start out telling the audience really about us, about kind of our everyday life and what we go through. So we're gonna talk about recent stuff that kind of happened in both of our lives. So if you want to kind of get into that story.
I'll touch upon it a little bit. Still active.
Yeah, it's still active.
Really what happened was I went to go pick you up from the train station.
Yep.
The other day, and I had just pulled out of the train station. Obviously picked you up, and I probably got not even 500 feet. Maybe a little bit more.
Maybe.
From the train station with all my lights off, because in that area, even though it was dark out, it's a very heavily populated area. There's gas stations, there's stores, there's everything. Street lights, obviously. So I didn't realize that my lights were off. I had gotten pulled over, and obviously sat there for a minute. Cop came up to your window, and so the passenger window, and was just pretty much like, hey, you notice anything? Just kind of being super sarcastic, kind of just being aggressive off jump.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, oh, well, does it, like, you know what I mean? Like, isn't a little dark or something like that? And I'm like, I guess. And I noticed that my lights were off. I was like, oh shit, man, I'm so sorry. And this guy's like, oh, okay. And then takes my license, registration, goes back to the car, comes back, and he's like, so how much pot's in this car? And I hadn't smoked any pot that day in the car. The only reason why it smelled like pot is because there was a little bit of pot in the car.
Right.
Dispensary, obviously. And yeah, man, so I definitely wasn't expecting a situation like that. And then he proceeds to tell me that he's searching the car because it smells like weed, even though in Illinois it's not probable cause to search cars anymore for smelling like weed. So that was off jump. He was telling me that he was going to search a car because it smells like weed. And then he proceeded to tell me, and you know, that he was going to search the car, and that he believes that there's guns and drugs in the car.
Yeah, guns and drugs.
And I'm like, okay. So we get out of the car. They have us sitting on the side of the squad car or my car, whatever, for a while. And then all of a sudden, obviously, he didn't find any guns and drugs because there was no guns and drugs in my car. And he ended up writing me for the fullest extreme for the weed that I had on me, even though the weed that I had on me was under the legal limit or at the legal limit. And because he just, I don't know, wanted to meet his quota or whatever the situation is, because I wasn't being hazardous to myself or others. It was clearly unintentional that I fucking had my headlights off. And so it's one of those situations where it was just like total abuse of power. You know, he was being aggressive off jump. There was very high inclination that if we didn't get out of the car, that there was going to be force used. And so it was just, I just think a classic stereotype situation, especially when he started coming at us about having guns and drugs in the car. And mind you, it's Aaron, it's myself, and it's your
my dog, yeah,
and your puppy.
My puppy.
So,
yeah.
So truly a menace. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
But yeah, no, that's all I wanted to touch upon it. I just think that it's important for people to know that you know, as much as everybody wants to back the badge because of what's going on, or not back the badge, or however you see yourself in society and how you view police officers.
Absolutely.
But overuse of power, clearly, because they not only abused my rights, but they also broke the law to do it. And I mean, with searching the car strictly because it smelled like marijuana, even though I wasn't high. I wasn't charged with a DWI. All he did was he gave me a court case and charged me to the fullest extent. So I have like a misdemeanor charge that I have to go take care of, which is ridiculous, just because it's like I said, I understand if I was being a hazard to myself, a hazard to others, I was intoxicated. He had no thought in his mind that I was intoxicated. The situation's just fishy. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. So, but no, it's true, and it's happening every day. These police officers are abusing their rights, and it's unfortunate because, you know, you're taught to not look up to these individuals, but respect these individuals, and they don't respect you. So it's like really putting a perception on how you're accustomed to live life, which is bullshit. So
absolutely,
I just wanted to stress that and put that out there. But other than that,
no, I feel
definitely leave your comments below and tell us what you think about the situation. I mean, like I said, I completely followed what they asked us to do. We completely followed what they asked us to do. They still gave me a outlandish court case, which is probably going to come with fines and shit like that. So at the end of the day, you know, it's a money grab, and it really has nothing to do who is
actually committing
crimes. So
no, just to touch on that, I definitely understand like that. That's crazy because, to be honest, he didn't really have like the cause to take it, even still. You know what I mean?
Right, being dispensary weed, that was ridiculous. Being
dispensary weed, there was no cause to take it. And I mean, it was just like the whole interaction. It's just like, it was just rude. You know, it was just like somebody talking down to you, being super sarcastic. When none of that is necessary. When like no one showed any sort of, on
especially
our side, showed any
respectful.
aggression.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're being respectful. We're answering the questions. You know, we're not being sarcastic. So it's just like, It was just kind of
I didn't even have a coat on, dude.
yeah,
I had
no,
no coat in
it
the
was
car.
cold.
They
Yeah,
left us out there for 25 minutes to find just a little bit of weed in the car.
right,
Which it's Illinois, and it's legal to have weed here, especially dispensary weed that you tax us on.
right.
Illinois.
That tax is crazy too.
No, it's 33% for concentrates. So good luck walking out of a dispensary trying to buy a gram of concentrates for less than $100, unless
Right.
it's a sale and it's trim run and it's garbage.
That's crazy.
It won't get you high. Not seriously, not as much as maybe just the same amount as the CBD stuff they sell at fucking gas stations now.
Yeah,
So,
no. So I
No.
mean, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
unfortunate.
like it's active though, so don't want to go like
to
no names
into
or anything
depth.
like
But
that.
yeah,
but
it's just unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. It's happening every single day for sure.
Yeah, and it happens to everybody. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Right, that's the first time I got pulled over in like a couple of years either, and I've never gotten pulled over and like caught like any kind of like marijuana charge or anything like that. That's why it's just like off jump. It was just like a surprise to me. It's fucking 9:30 at night. This guy clearly realizes I'm not screwed up, and he still wants to proceed at like full
Right.
force of like, screw jurisdiction. I mean, like common sense. Common sense is real. It's like, do you not realize that like people are getting mad because of certain situations like this, and not only that, but police officers are getting killed in the city because of abusing their rights.
yeah,
So it's like it's crazy to think. I don't know. If I was an officer of the law, I would definitely rethink how I'm doing my job, especially when people that are supposed to be on my team are essentially getting knocked off, dude, because of how
Absolutely.
they're treating people. I mean, no matter who you are, you're not bigger than, or you're not above the law, and I mean, everybody should be treated with respect.
absolutely,
Period.
absolutely. And it's just like that's what, I think that's what everybody just wants. It's just that respect. You know, it's just respect. Just respect me as a human being. You know, don't talk down to me. Don't use excessive force if it's not necessary. You know, just be cool. Like, and you know, I think most of these situations would go a lot better if you know, the person with the, because obviously, let's be honest here. In that situation, the police officer has the power, right? But if the person with power still treats you like a human being, like with respect, I feel like the person getting, you know, in the situation would respond a lot better, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I mean,
in
it's just
almost every
unfortunate.
situation, you know, unless, again, there's alcohol and drugs involved, but
Mhm.
nobody was intoxicated.
No one
so-
was intoxicated.
No, and there wasn't even suspicion that we were intoxicated. so-
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on with that, for sure.
So I had a question for you. Do you think there's a right way to break up with someone? I know that's a pivot. That just went super far left.
Right.
But is there a bad way? Like, is there a good way? Like, is there a way? Like,
I think personally that, well, I don't think that there's a right way to break up with somebody.
mhm.
I think that
There's some wrong ways though.
there's definitely some wrong ways.
Wow.
And there's
Got
there's
you.
clear there's definitely clear wrong ways. But what I was saying is just that I don't think that there's like a right way to do it. You know, I think that no matter what you choose is gonna be either more respectful or less respectful in the situation, and it's all perception of how that other person is gonna see it, no matter how you do things. So, I mean, shit. At the end of the day, I think I don't think there's an absolute right way to break up with somebody. If you catch my drift,
Okay. Okay. So
how would you do it?
I can tell you how I did do it.
Okay, elaborate.
So I was at some point in a relationship.
Give a little backstory. How long did you know this girl?
I knew her for a long time, and just off jump, like the other person, like Shorty and everything, like, you know, I just want to say off before like I get into the story, like,
Yeah.
you know, amazing person, will never ever say a bad word about the person, always all love. So just to get that out the way, there's not going to be any bashing, any sort of like, you know, trying to make fun of that person at all. This has nothing really to do with that person. This is really more my experience of it.
Right.
But with that out the way, yeah, I had dated and known this person for a very long time.
How many years would you say? I think it matters.
6, 7.
6, 7 years. So
6,
let's say 7 years.
Yeah, like we had been dating for a long time, and like there have been breakups and makeups and breakups and makeups a few different times. So it wasn't just like this whole time, going steady. There was definitely a few breaks in between.
Right.
But I would say for about 5-ish years, 6 years, we were like, together or whatever. When the relationship was about to end, truthfully, I had been unfaithful before, and that's just, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Right.
I'm not gonna condone that, and I think that's wrong. And I was getting to the point towards the end that I was feeling that coming back, that I wanted to be that way, and that I just didn't feel the same way anymore. And so I felt like the best thing to do was just to end it and just be like, hey, I don't think that we should continue. Like, I think we should just be done. And
Wait.
Go ahead. What's up?
That's not what you told me.
Yeah.
No, you tell them what you told me.
Oh, well, I mean, I haven't even gotten into that yet.
You're not even leading up to that. You were just going to breeze over that. You got to tell them how you did it. And you got to tell them when you did it.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. So we had like kicked it and everything was cool one day. And then the next day I sent her a text, a super long text, and, said what I had to say. And, said that, obviously that it was all love, but like I just didn't feel the same way. And, I thought we should do our own thing. And yeah.
And what day was on it?
That was like.
What day was it on?
Oh, it wasn't. Well, it was like a few days after Valentine's Day.
You're pretty bogus.
All right, but like in my defense, right? Would you rather? It's more painful to pull off slowly a Band-Aid than to rip it off.
Nah, bro, that was pretty bogus how you did it.
I understand that, and I'm here for the honesty, for the truth of the matter. And if you say that, I can feel that.
I know. I feel like a lot of people, I mean, obviously, like, I understand why you did it, but
right.
I mean, just the way you did it, and I'm sure she feels the same way.
I'm pretty sure she does, but at the same time,
you're an asshole.
I am an asshole, but here's what I'm not.
How you just here's where I'm not. I am an asshole.
Oh, I'm definitely an asshole, but I'm not a liar.
Aaron's an asshole.
I can say that I'm not a liar, and I'd rather be an asshole than be a liar.
Right. No,
I'd rather be an asshole than be a cheater or a fucking, or be unfaithful.
Right.
And embarrass, and then in that point, then you catch me up. Now you're embarrassed. Now people know. Now you look dumb. You know what I mean?
No,
and this way, it's like we can all say Aaron's the asshole, and I'm cool with that because I'm an asshole, and I probably could have done it a better way.
Right.
1,000% agree with that, but you can't call me a liar.
Right.
So I'm cool with that. And I'm okay with taking that and looking like the dickhead. Because that was not...
I'm pretty sure there's like... There's a few other reasons. I know there's a few other reasons too.
Oh,
you
and
definitely don't want to live with her and her mom and shit like that.
Yeah, there was that. And then, I mean, there was also like, truthfully...
Three-way.
I truthfully like wanted to like focus on like my career.
Right.
Really.
Absolutely. Not the three-way.
And truthfully, I think that Shorty wanted like a family and that's beautiful, but at this point I couldn't provide that. So why am I be standing in the way of what you really want? You know what I mean?
Right. No, I understand.
And so like again, like yeah, I did it for me and it was a selfish move, but I also did it in some ways, and I don't want to say for her because that's going to sound like I'm an asshole. But, like, in some ways, yes, it was. It was just to let the situation kind of rest easily and be cool. And like, I mean, it was a great text, by the way. It wasn't just like, oh, it's over type shit. Like, I, explained myself and, apologized and, definitely, definitely said what I had to
text
say.
Message.
Yeah, but I mean, like, again, I just think that maybe in person or over the phone it might have ended a little worse.
Yeah.
Because I think things might have been said in anger that are not meant.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have rather I'm okay. I'm at peace with how I did it. You know, like I get it. It comes off like I'm a dick, but like, you know, I did what I had to do. You know, at the end of the day. And like I said to start it off, like it's all love for that person. Like it's never ever gonna be any disrespect tolerated talking about her, because there's there's no she didn't do anything, right?
Right. No,
This
I
is
get
a
it.
Aaron decision.
I
So
understand.
yeah,
Definitely.
no, that's how I feel about it. But
Do you think that was the right way to do it?
no, maybe not. Maybe not in like society's way, but for me in my situation, I felt like it was the right thing for me to do.
Definitely.
But I could see why, and I understand 1000% why society would say that wasn't the right way to do it. But for Aaron, in this situation, it was the right shit. That was the right way to do that shit. You know. So again, I'm at peace with it, and I'm okay with like looking like a dick.
Right.
That's all right.
And now you just want to have like a hot boy summer. I got you.
1000%.
That was the underlying move the whole time.
Never. No, it's a hot boy summer as far as like working. I'm gonna be, you know, making this music and doing this. So yeah, it's gonna be a hot boy summer for sure.
Definitely. You got an album coming out, right?
Yes, sirski.
Yeah.
Album coming soon.
Okay. You don't got a date for that?
No, don't have a date yet.
That's okay.
But
I know it's almost done.
It's almost done. I'll be here this summer.
Nice.
Shout out Justino. Shout out G Money G Note again. You gonna hear that name a lot.
Yeah.
I hear that name a lot for sure. But shout out G Money, man. He has a couple of really cold beats on there.
Definitely.
And definitely a couple of cold verses too. So, yeah, no, the music is amazing. Like always. So
Yeah.
we just been working. That's all.
I got you. Definitely. Shout out G Money. He's actually main camera guy for us right now. So
1000%.
fucking GOAT. Everybody's gonna know that name real soon.
1000%.
Just like a dose of reality.
Absolutely.
So.
But I did wanna there's somebody that I want to give their flowers to, who's known. I just feel like we should give him their flowers, because I feel like he's a great rapper right now, a great young rapper. Jack Harlow, man.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
This run he's been on.
Been coming up since the pandemic.
Yeah, no, this run he's been on has been very good, very solid. I know we've been talking, people have been hyping up the Baby and Little Baby, and I'm not saying they're not cold, but Jack Harlow has been kind of undercover, been dropping heat, fire.
Yeah.
And has been getting some, he has a shoe, right?
Yeah, he's got a New Balance shoe.
New Balance
line
shoe.
right now. Yeah. I don't know what number it is exactly, but I definitely got to cop some of those. They're in his new music video. I'm not trying to promote them. But they're in his new music video. If anybody checks that out, Nail Tech.
Yeah, it was but yeah, so I know you're a fan. I'm a fan of him, just
Definitely a fan.
I'm a fan because I just like how he kind of carries himself. Even though he's humble, he's still got that superstar swag.
Well, he's definitely backing up what he's talking. I mean, I don't really think
Absolutely.
his ego like is too far out there when he's
Absolutely.
walking around, like you're saying. But I mean, he's definitely spitting some fire, man.
Yeah.
I
He
really
can
haven't
rap.
listened to any song that I don't like.
Yeah.
Which you can't say about like every artist.
No,
you know what I
can't.
mean?
No, I mean he can, like, it's just like it's nice that like rapping, people who are just rappers who really spit, like, that hasn't died. Because in music, music evolves,
Right.
obviously, and now you have a lot of the singing rap, which I love. I'm a big fan of, but it's still nice to have somebody who's just consistently just giving you bars, but it's not corny. It's still up with the times. It's still
Right.
on the same beats that you would hear anybody else on, but he's just spitting.
He switches the flow too in a lot of his songs.
He
Halfway
switches up
through,
his
he's
flow.
switching
Yeah,
up the flow.
it's not
Yeah.
like a DaBaby thing, which, not to like get on DaBaby, because he has switched his flow up recently, but
Right.
like most of his first songs, it was all the same flow and almost saying the same thing. And I feel like with Jack Harlow, he can kind of go into a couple of different ways. So
Yeah, he definitely elaborates where he's comfortable with.
1000%, and it's just like every interview you see him in, every time you see him, like anytime on camera, he's just very comfortable, very cool. Seems like a very cool dude.
He's gonna be on the new Donda 2, right? that
Yeah.
came out on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Pebble.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to talk about the Pebble a little bit?
Stem player, the Pebble.
Yeah.
So it's like this.
You know, for everybody that doesn't know, what
Yeah,
a stem
it's
player
like
is.
this. If you haven't heard yet, Kanye came out with Donda 2, the follow up to Donda, and he didn't drop it on any of the streaming sites. He dropped it just on like a device, and it's like a $200 device. And if I'm not mistaken, what you can do with it is kind of have like the track outs of the song. So basically, what the track outs is like all the different sounds that make a beat, and then you kind of can modify them, take some sounds out, move some sounds in, and just kind of rock with it like that, and kind of make some of the songs sound like how you want them to sound, I guess.
Okay.
So that's one of the features of it.
You can piece it track by track.
Exactly, something like that. So, but you can do a lot of cool little things like that. But that's the only place you can get down to 2 right now.
Okay. And Jack Harlow's new songs on
And
that.
so Jack Harlow is on there.
How many people are even featuring on that album? Not a lot, right?
No, it's probably like a lot.
Really?
I mean, he had like on the first Donda, he had I don't want to say 20 because that sounds like a lot, but it could have probably damn well been 20 because he had features on every single song, and some of them had multiple songs, and I think there was a lot of songs on that album.
Right.
Recently, and actually today, I was watching Genius, the Kanye West documentary. And you said you had seen, I believe, the first episode, right?
Yeah, I saw the
so
first
I
episode.
seen the first episode in about
Three-part trilogy.
The 3-part trilogy. I've seen the first episode and about half of the second episode.
Okay.
And I'm actually gonna I can't wait to watch the rest of it. But I was just very impressed with just the whole thing. Number one, I just think the creativity of it. How back then he was just thinking so forward-minded to just be like, hey, let me record everything that's going on and let's do this little documentary. And also, like, you gotta respect the step of faith that took.
Right.
Both of them.
Definitely.
Both Kanye and Akudi. 'Cause he left Chicago, Kanye left Chicago, kind of just chasing their dreams,
Right.
So I know you couldn't help but feel inspired by watching that. So what did you think of the first episode?
Honestly, I thought everything was put together great. I mean, getting a lot of footage from back when he was, on the grind and putting his time in. It was raw. A lot of the reason it was so raw is because and good because you could tell the difference in film in the time. You know what I mean? Even on the nice flat screens that we have now, you could just tell. You know what I mean? That it was lower quality, but I mean it's still great quality. You know what I mean? And I think that really helps set a tone for the documentary. And I definitely look at Kanye in a different way. Just kind of seeing that background.
The young Kanye.
Well, yeah, because I mean, follow his music, yes, but I mean at the same time. He tells a story in his songs, but there's not a lot of like background stuff on Kanye that doesn't have to do with, his relationships and shit like that. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I don't, you don't really get to see Kanye for who he is. Who he's trying to, be for the camera. So.
I think he captures that perfectly in this song on. Oh, I forgot what album it was, but it's called I Love Kanye. And he's like, I miss the old Kanye, straight from the gold Kanye. It's just like, and he was just like, he said something. There's a point, and I don't remember if this is the first or the second one, but there was a point in one of them where he had a radio interview. And if you like listen to it.
Oh, he was pissed in that interview too.
Yeah, he was upset. He was upset. He was very upset. But I listened to it.
They were clowning him too.
Yeah, I was listening to it, and I was like, it sounded like kind of when he went off on Sway. I could almost hear him saying, you only got the answer, Sway. He was saying it almost in that way, and I was just like, I think that Kanye has never changed.
Right.
I don't believe that Kanye has changed. I just think that
it's been publicized now.
It not that it's been publicized. I just think that he's always said exactly how he felt. He's always done exactly what he wanted to do. He's always just expressed that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is just these are different times. You know what I mean?
It's
So
different.
now that we're in different times and people are perceiving things differently,
Absolutely.
it's almost like now he's become more of a quote unquote problem because people are seeing things differently.
Yes and no. I think more of it is really that the stuff he says, the masses don't agree with as much as they used to.
Right.
Because when he went up there and said, "Oh, George Bush don't care about black people," like a lot of black people thought that. So he was speaking something that he believed. But then when Kanye says, "Well, hey, I'm with Trump. I vote for Trump," we're all like, "Yo, we don't rock with dude." But at the same time, it's that's what makes Kanye Kanye, and that's why I respect him, and that's why even through the Donald Trump thing, looking back on it from this side, I have more respect for him doing that than anything else. Not that I agree with what he did, not that I agree with anything that has to do with Trump, but what I'm saying is he knew that his core audience and his core people, he knew that a lot of black people were going to turn their back on him when he aligned himself with Trump, and he did it anyway because that's what he felt. And truthfully, that's to be commended. Like somebody who's gonna stand up for what they believe in and talk about what they believe in and say what they believe, even though they know for a fact that the masses and the people that support them the most are gonna hate them for it, and they do it anyway. I respect that. Again, I'm not sitting here saying that I agree with the policies, but I respect the man for making that decision. And I've always viewed Kanye as, one of the greatest, like, most influential people of the generation. And you can go from fashion to music to everything. I mean, you listen to every Kanye album, they all sound different. He was one of the first people chopping up the samples. That was his style. People wasn't doing that before, chopping up the samples, making those soulful beats.
Right.
Then he was making stuff sound good that shouldn't sound good. I remember he was playing Jesus Walks for somebody, and they were like in the documentary, and they were like, I ain't never heard a song like this before. Like I had never heard a rap song like that before. Because it's different, So, different people, kind of not live by different rules. Absolutely not. But they walk different paths. They do different things.
Yeah. I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you said with... It's funny that you mentioned it because I was kind of thinking about it. When, you said that Kanye West said that George Bush hates black people.
Yeah.
The only reason why I wanted to touch on that is because it shows you, because for how many people believed him,
Mm-hmm.
it shows you that the media and politics are completely wrapped up, and people can't understand or tell the difference of where the lines end and where they start.
Absolutely.
I don't think that as an influencer and somebody that makes media, obviously he has a right to his own opinion, but I don't think that should mass affect like the mass. You know what I mean? Because it's one of the situations like you're telling me that like I quote unquote look up to this guy. Mm-hmm. I like the music that he does. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? If anybody's aspiring to be somebody or be like somebody, that they're gonna listen based off of his opinion. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think that music should intertwine. Music and media shouldn't intertwine. Kind of like when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go from making movies to now jumping into politics.
Right.
And that was his thing, even if he did any benefit to California or not.
Right.
But I mean that's another aspect of now we're mixing things where it's like now the people are I feel like because it's almost for me too. It's like where do politics start and where does the media end and vice versa, because it's like everybody is okay to talk about media and talk about music and talk about artists and influencers and
Absolutely.
YouTube influencers and stuff like that, but politics will break up a relationship. Politics will break up a friendship. Politics
Absolutely.
will break up. So it's funny that you brought that up. and that one thing that was said had such a mass effect on the public that you know what I mean? Like,
But that's again, you have to think.
I mean, do you believe that?
What?
Do you believe that George Bush hates black people?
No, I don't think he hates black people.
Okay.
Do I think that?
So do you think that the comment itself was almost like, you know what I mean? Like,
The
how many
comment
young
itself-
people that are just starting to vote that have no idea what's going on with politics are looking up to Kanye,
Right.
being as
So are you
influential
saying
as
it's
he
an
is?
irresponsible comment?
I mean, what do you think?
Truthfully, so in a way I agree with you, in a way I don't, right? So like, yeah, is it an irresponsible comment? Kind of. But he wasn't. He
And
said
then
what
does
he
it come
said.
down to clickbait? You know what I mean? Does
Right.
it come down to, is this a media stunt or is
Mm-hmm.
this something that he truly feels?
Well,
And that goes
you
back
have
to
to
saying
think about it. And I have to put it in
him
context.
spinning it
though.
raw, you know?
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, what he said was George Bush doesn't care about black people. What he was really trying to say was something different and deeper, and something that can't be denied. That at that point, what was happening in Katrina, there was people that were being discriminated against. Black people mostly were being discriminated against, where they weren't given the same amount of like help and certain things like that. In the media coverage at the time, because it was a whole rant. Like, it was a whole speech before, because he was saying that the media coverage at the time, they would say that, like, if they saw a white family going into an abandoned store getting food, they would say they're just hunting for food for their family. But if they saw a black person, they were ransacking the place. They were trying to break in and whatever. So that was what he said before. And then he said, well, George Bush doesn't care about black people. So again, was what he was saying misplaced? Absolutely. I don't think it was a shot necessarily at George Bush, more as it was a shot at the whole kind of government and saying, you guys don't care about us. But at that time, you have to think about it like this. You can't go on the stage and say the whole government. You know what I mean? So who's the head of the government? George Bush. At the time, he's the president. So that's why he got that. So again, like, it's a deeper statement than just George Bush doesn't care about black people.
I understand that.
So-
I'm just saying that's where
But again-
the media and politics flex. That's
Exactly.
what I'm trying to say.
But again, is it irresponsible because should we be listening to Kanye about our political affiliations?
I don't think so.
Absolutely not. But and see, this is why, but we're letting ourselves off the hook now. Because who the fuck told you to listen to Kanye about the goddamn politics?
Nobody said everybody was smart.
But see that.
But
I think we're blaming the wrong people, because I should be able to say whatever the fuck I want to say, and what you should do is go do some goddamn research. Search up these people that are being voted in.
Right.
Search up their policies. But that's too much work.
It's not even that, though, because I mean, obviously, like that goes into something deeper, because it goes into discretion. It goes into discretion of the parents. It goes into discretion of adult figures or authority figures or whatever the situation is for a situation like that. And obviously, if you can vote, you're legally an adult. But what I am saying, though, is that as an influencer and as somebody of his status or status quo or whatever the fuck you want to say, you honestly, and I feel like everybody kind of knows this, should kind of show a little, maybe not compassion, but like withhold a certain, moral status for yourself, and not be a bad example for these kids that are looking up to you, and especially when you start getting politics in the mix, because that's what I said. Kids are naive, and they're going to sit here and they're going to flex what the media is and what politics are. Yeah. So now people don't even know what the fuck they're talking about.
Absolutely.
And they're still talking about it like they do, because they're so well kept with all this social media bullshit. So that's important.
Exactly.
And that's important for these OGs to know that.
I know, and I agree with you. That is important. At the same time, they have parents, right?
I know it comes down to discretion, but
and
still, influencers, when you have millions of influencers, you should have a little bit of discretion yourself. That's what I'm saying. And that's the point that I'm making, and I'm not going to budge on that.
No, I agree. But then again, I disagree at the same time, because at the same time, I should be able to live the life I want to live. If you decide to follow me, you made that decision. I didn't put a gun to your head and say, hey, motherfucker, do everything I do. Believe everything I believe. Real life, we as people have to stop trying to find someone else to blame for the reasons why our society is fucked. Because our society is fucked because parents stopped being parents and they taught their kids to not be parents, and then those kids had other kids and they didn't parent those kids. So then motherfuckers just acted however the fuck they want. You go to the store, you see the fucking kids disrespectful as fuck to their parents, talking any old kind of way, doing whatever the fuck they want. It's very rare when you see a well-behaved child. That shit is rare sometimes. And I don't mean to like shit on people, but it's for real. Like when you see a well-behaved kid, you're like, fuck. Damn.
Where
you're
are
sitting here.
what are all these kids? I mean, obviously it depends on the age group, but that kind of goes back to what I was saying. What are all these kids doing if they're not listening to their parents?
What do you mean? What are they not?
What are they doing on their free time?
On social media, on phones.
And who are they watching?
Every social media influencer.
And all these influencers are doing what?
Whatever the fuck they want.
They're influencing these kids, man.
Of course they are, and I'm not
so
saying
no
that
matter
they're
how
not.
what I'm saying is no matter how much it goes down to discretion and how adults should obviously show discretion towards their kids. These influencers, bro, these people that are making billions of dollars for a reason, not just because they are good at what they do, but they should still withhold like a moral front for these kids, man.
I understand. At the same time, and we can end it here, but at the same time, all I'm saying is that yeah, there's a right and wrong way to act, but my focus when I drop music, right? When I do anything, right? So when Kanye drops an album, well, Kanye is a little different because he's a little older. Let's stay away from Kanye. When Young Thug drops an album, right?
Okay.
Do you think Young Thug is thinking about any kids?
No, absolutely not.
So when you get the album, actually,
but how many times has Young Thug went on interviews and posted about his political views?
He hasn't, but I'm just saying.
Okay, well then that's not that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so if
that's what I'm trying to say, bro.
So if we're sticking specifically to politics, right? That's the thing about politics. That's what everybody's like. They tell you to like do your research and vote. They tell you to vote, but anybody who ever talks about politics always says do your research and vote. So if you're just listening, if you're just listening to Kanye West to tell you what to do about politics, then you're fucking up. And that's on you. That's not on Kanye West. That's on absolutely one person. That's on you. Because why the fuck you listen to Kanye West about politics?
No, I get it. I totally understand.
That shit for?
I totally understand.
When you know what I do when I'm looking about politics? I watch the news, and then after I watch the news, I go and do some research. I research some shit. Go online, search some shit up. Who is this person? What are their policies about? It's all there. All their shit is there. All the things they did. Yeah, it's a little hard to kind of get through sometimes. Some of the jargon is a little hard. Sometimes you got to search the shit up to see what it means. But again, I'm gonna do my research, and I'm gonna actually vote. You know what I mean? And vote based on the research. I'm not gonna listen to fucking Kanye West or Jay-Z or no other fucking rapper, cause they not living the life I'm living too. That's another thing you gotta realize. Like, niggas in a whole different tax bracket that I'm not in right now. Right. So that affects who he's gonna vote for as well.
I understand.
So again, I can't. I get it. You should definitely have some sort of like. I think you should be able to say what you feel about politics. I think that we as people got to do better at, discerning. I feel like I should be
communicating is good, but like I said, I don't think that anybody in a media standpoint that has to do with music or that has anything to do with revolving around kids should be giving their political views to kids. Period. I'm a father. I don't want anybody fucking talking shit to my kid. I mean, it even goes down to the school too. I don't want any teachers preaching on my kid. I don't want any of that. So I don't think that somebody that is in a tax bracket.
But you know what you're gonna do though?
What?
You're gonna discern some shit. You're gonna make sure certain people.
Yeah.
So
obviously, I'm gonna say something, and obviously it's discretion of the parents. But what I'm saying is, as a parent, You know what I mean? That's I mean that's it's just I feel like that's something that should be just unsaid. You know
I
what I
feel
mean?
you.
Like when we get to that point where we're, you know what I mean, where we have followers, we have an extensive amount of followers, people that subscribe to what we're doing, I'm never ever going to sit here and say, you know what, guys, this is what you should do. I'm
Yeah.
never going to do that.
Oh, I feel
I'm never
you.
going to do that. It doesn't matter what tax bracket I get into. I'm never going to sit here and be like, this is what you should do. And I'm especially never going to sit here and say, this is who you should vote for and that
You're not
George
black if
Bush
you
hates
don't.
black people.
You're not black if you don't vote for me and shit like that. No,
No, I'm not going to do
I
any of
agree
that shit.
that
So,
shit ain't cool. I do agree. And like when you're specifically saying shit like that, I definitely
Yeah,
100% agree.
So I mean that's the overall point I was trying to get at. Another thing I wanted to talk about though was the Lacey Act, something
Okay.
that's pretty relative within the last couple of weeks.
I get into that, yeah.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, the Lacey Act was first formed in the 1800s, and it had to do with stuff about transporting live plants and trees and certain animals across state lines or from out of country. It was revised in 2008. And then they went into more extensive descriptions on what specifically you weren't able to transport regarding plants and trees and stuff that wasn't indigenous to the state or the country. And now, 2022, trying to revise it again, saying that most animals, exotic animals, including lizards, birds, fish, and anything that you can't find at Petco or PetSmart is going to be blacklisted. So that means that all these breeders are going to end up losing their jobs or committing a crime essentially. And yeah, they're trying to pass this through, which I think is ridiculous. In one standpoint, I understand the whole fact of not having animals and the plants and whatever going across state lines for it to be a problem.
Right.
But if all these animals are in captivity, I don't know what the issue is.
Okay.
And no matter what, you can't stop anybody from purchasing an animal and letting an animal go. And not only that, most of the exotic animals that would be coming over state lines or out of country would not even survive in this weather.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like now you're completely destroying a hobby. You're completely destroying education for children because I've had a pet since I was a little kid. You're completely destroying a part of the economy. I mean, there's an old saying that some of the biggest parts of the economy, money-wise, is in the porn industry and the pet industry, and,
Right.
and sometimes that crosses over too. You know what I mean? But that's a real thing.
Right.
And so to cut that out entirely, I think it's fucking bullshit.
Well, I just think because I think when I was doing a little research, I guess their thing is like some of the animals not being like been in when they're in captivity or by these exotic pet owners.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're not in the best like actual like places so that they can like thrive or whatever.
Right.
And my only thing is I don't think you should be banned all the way, but I really do believe that like there should be like a committee or something that comes out and checks their facility before
Well, for a breeder though, but this is
Yeah.
going to restrict everybody. That, like I said, so there's still going to
Well,
be a section
I'm even
of
talking
animals.
about
Right,
just
but there's
the
still going to be a
regular
section of animals and
owners.
reptiles and amphibians and whatever that are going to be whitelisted. That
Right.
Petco and PetSmart have gone through their supplier and have tried their ass off to get these whitelisted. But I mean, even for an extension of like cichlids or African cichlids, like that would not be allowed anymore. I've had those before. You know what I mean? And it's just, I just think that point is ridiculous. There's no reason. No matter what, things are going to be mass bred. No
Right.
matter what, things are going to be mass sold. Yes, it's going to lessen how much they're going to be bred and sold if this goes into play. But I mean, how much more? I mean, what's the snowball effect of that?
Yeah, no, I just think that maybe if there is some sort of if there's actually an issue, right? Maybe you tighten up some restrictions or something. But I don't think like doing away with it all. I think that's
And
kinda
not only
unfair.
that, think about it like this too. That's going to take a whole nother extreme to now like food and stuff like that because, okay, now we're taking exotic animals out of the way, but now you're completely destroying businesses, local businesses that are selling exotic animals mostly and also have like healthier foods and stuff like that. So that's taking away our dog food for our dogs. That's
Right.
taking away everything. That's completely destroying businesses. And now literally the only people that are going to be profiting from this are Petco and PetSmart. And yes,
Yeah, the
like
big
these
companies,
local
right.
businesses still will be open for however long. But I mean,
But they're just
that's going to
pushing
be
them
huge
out.
of their business. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to accept any relinquishes if anybody's like, hey, I can't take care of this animal anymore. I mean, like just like turtles. You're not allowed to sell baby turtles, period. That's illegal in Illinois. You cannot sell baby turtles. The only place you can find a baby turtle is in the spring when they hatch or in Chinatown. So it's like that's a thing, and people know that. Like pet stores don't accept stuff like that. And that's how it's going to be for most animals now that you would see on a, you know what I mean, like at an everyday basis at a pet store.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's bullshit that that's happening.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, having if you have like I said, as long as you can care for the pet
Right.
and have it in a safe environment, then by all means, I feel like you should be able to do that. But like, as long as like that, and that would be my only thing. Maybe if there's some sort of like, we can put into effect some sort of thing where they have people who come and check shit out. You know what I mean? To make sure the shit is cool.
Right.
But
I still feel like that would be extensive because they do have people go and check like big facilities out and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But still, and see, that's another thing. It all comes back to a cash grab, dude.
always.
Because all these private businesses or breeders and stuff like that are breeding geckos or whatever the hell they're breeding, spiders or whatever, are all 1099ing themselves as self-contractors. So then they're paying taxes at the end of the year, yeah, or avoiding taxes or whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? And there's nothing more than the state hates than people that 1099 themselves
Yeah.
because they have no idea what you're claiming. So, and they have to believe you. So, I mean, of course, it comes back to like now we're going to take out an education point in kids' lives for again money. Everything comes down to money in that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, the dollar bill runs the world. Unfortunately.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Apparently, you can make $1 billion off of trash shoes. Apparently.
Yeah, it's called the Yeezys. Those Yeezys are trash. Absolutely.
That's funny.
No,
Hilarious.
they are trash, bro.
You can say you don't like the color.
No, the design is trash.
Can't call them trash.
They absolutely are trash. It doesn't matter if you make $1 billion. It doesn't matter if you make $1 trillion off a shoe. If the design is trash, if it looks like shit, then it is a trash idea. It's a trash design.
So, question: when he wrote that up and he gave it to Adidas, what was their prime objective?
You know what they thought?
No. What was their prime objective?
To sell the shoe.
Did they sell the shoe?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was a success?
Sure.
So then you can't call the shoe trash. How?
I don't know. Dude, I have not
If
seen
I-
people wear those Yeezy Crocs or anything like that. I've never seen anybody wear those shoes.
I mean-
So anytime anybody bought those shoes,
Uh-huh.
they're thinking the same thing as me, that this design is trash. I'm buying this shoe only because it's going to be worth something or I can resell it, but never because I'm going to wear this trash fucking shoe or anything like that. That's the truth.
Absolutely. So they made $1 billion, all right?
It's still a trash design.
I mean, hey, I just don't understand, like, if the
Would you wear shoes like that?
Hell no.
What do you think about the design?
I don't think it's great. I'm not gonna call it trash.
It looks like shit.
Okay. $1 billion though.
I don't know, man. I don't think a money factor really has to do with how the design looks.
I think that
I don't think that pushes it. I don't think that bumps it up an extra couple points.
I just think that if you made $1 billion off it, you can't call it trash. You can say I don't like the color, I don't like the whatever, I don't like the design.
Right.
Can't call it trash.
I think it's trash.
But I think that everybody in the comment section
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, you guys should comment.
You should
Tell us
comment
if
and
the
ask
Yeezys are
us.
trash.
No. If you make $1 billion off of something, can that thing be called trash?
That's the question. If
That's
you make
the
$1
question.
billion off a product, is the product trash just because the design looks like trash?
Okay.
I don't know. I think we leave it up to them.
I think we leave it up to them. Well, I think
That's pretty much it,
This is
right?
what we'll call it a night. We want to thank everybody for watching. We will be back next week, same time, same place.
Absolutely.
So please subscribe, comment, and like and share. And thank you for tuning in to A Dose of Reality.
Yeah, everybody have a good night.
Have a good night. Deuces.